Nice to see you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mastermind Body and Spirit Show. Today's guest is the founder of Ride Amigos and Beautify Earth. After one successful neighborhood was transformed through art, Beautify Earth was created to perform such activities at a global level and transform underserved communities through public art, murals, art educations, and community engagement. He set out to prove that anyone is capable of making change and that the reward of giving back is inherently the highest form of compensation. Beautify Earth is now an international movement using proven strategies and value sets to bring care, art, color, and love everywhere. Welcome to the show, Evan Meyer. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Nice to see you.
You
Looking
too,
good.
dude. You too. You too. Yeah, looking good. You got a little beard catching up to do, but other than that, I'd say we'd pass as brothers pretty easily.
That's true. I've got a few months to go, but
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm really excited to get into this podcast and chat with you. We got introduced through a mutual friend, and I looked into the work that you're doing, and it's such an amazing and beautiful thing that you're doing at Beautify Earth. Do you want to share just a little bit about how you got to where you are today? And I understand that you just won a very prestigious award by the state of California, which is amazing. So I really love digging in and seeing what you're doing. It's having a massive impact. So you'd be better to just, let the audience know a little bit about yourself and then how you got to where you are today and this epic mission of Beautify Earth.
Absolutely. Well, it started out as a crazy guy painting a wall on Lincoln Boulevard in Santa Monica, and that was me. And it kind of took off, and it was, Lincoln needs a lot of help. And over time, that one wall turned into two, turned into three. It was getting a lot of good feedback, and people jumped on board. Started beautify this, beautify that, beautify Rockaways, beautify Brooklyn, beautify all these different things, and it turned into something much bigger than I ever expected. And it really was just an opportunity to get out there and make a difference and put, I want to say, put your money where your mouth is, right? Like, people want change and people want things to be better, and this is just a very simple way of creating large impact with at a relatively low cost and getting out there and doing it, right? So there's so many things that it touches. It's got a lot of tentacles in terms of artist empowerment, community pride, and making a landscape look much better and people feel much better. So, at the end of the day, it's how you feel when you look at trash, for lack of a better way of putting it, but visual blight versus art, and that's the experience you can get when you multiply that millions of times over around the world. You can actually elevate the frequency of the planet just by everyone feeling a bit better when they wake up and look out their window. So it's actually not too much about art at all. Art's just the math. It's really about solving urban blight and about getting people to care and take pride in their environment.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's amazing. It's really beautiful. I definitely get that. It's interesting because I do a lot of traveling, and in Whistler, there's very little trash. And if somebody picks up or somebody litters, somebody will just go pick it up and throw it in the garbage. It's a little thing, but whenever somebody just throws garbage on the ground, it bugs me. This is your home, this is a community, and even so, it's the planet. It doesn't matter where you are. You should have respect for your environment, taking care of it. And so I think there's a what comes to mind is I remember this study done, and I don't know where it was Russia or something like that, where people would they would tag the cars, and it wasn't pleasant tagging, it was pretty ghetto-y tagging, wasn't beautiful art, and they found that when they cleaned them all, and if they got the one right away, it would stop, but if they let the one car stay tagged, then all of a sudden all of the cars would stay tagged, and then it would actually affect the environment of the stations and everything, but the more they were able to keep it clean, the more it actually affected the environment. And actually, I think there was a correlation between crime as well, and just that,
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Yeah,
do you?
I think the concept you're talking about is broken windows theory.
Yes.
That if
Yes.
you right, that's the general idea, and this is actually a reverse broken windows theory. It's kind of like, you ever go to a bathroom? This is a terrible example, but I'm going to go for it. But like, if you ever go to like a really gross bathroom, and like you're just like, man, you can almost see that like no one cares, and the paper towels are everywhere, and there's toilets gross. You know, it's just not a good situation. But when the bathroom is clean, you're like just really proud of actually being in there. You almost don't want to make anything dirty at all, right? And that is kind of just, that's a really weird example, but if you think about it like that, and the experience you get, just how you feel when you walk into a bathroom, and how you're going to, think about that experience versus being in a pristine hotel, gorgeous bathroom with jade and quartz and everything, and flowers and water and bamboo, and you're just like, man, this is just like, so the idea is that things that are dirty tend to stay dirty, and things that are clean tend to stay clean. Of course,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where I am. I don't leave a trace. So.
Right. Yeah. So you kind of explained it there, but do you want to go a little bit more into the broken windows theory?
Yeah. So it really is. I forget the original example. I believe it was in New York, but if a window's broken and it stays broken, then you end up having more broken windows. Crime increases, people vandalize, and a broken window is a good example of something like that. That would I kind of give you the visual experience, right? You see a broken window, it's broken. But if you fix it, then crime won't accelerate at that rate. But if you leave it broken, crime will accelerate at a much steeper rate, and more windows get broken. So that's
right.
That's really that's really where it came from. It's a beautiful theory, and again, this is really just the reverse. If you do the exact opposite, you make people feel good, and people start taking pride in their own surroundings, in their own communities, and you say, hey, I don't want to be the only one with a building that looks like something not nice in a nice area, right? So you kind of get that effect as well. It's kind of like leading by example, which is one of our core values at Beautify Earth, making sure that we lead by example.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah, man. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's so fundamental. I have a background in studying just psychology and how the mind works and how mass persuasion works. And so one of the ones that I learned in hypnosis is, basically like whatever you're looking at is going to go in. So if you say like, don't think about a purple rhinoceros, your mind has to kind of processes information and think about a purple rhinoceros. So when we're going down the street, and also our unconscious mind is picking up everything. It's picking up absolutely everything. Our minds are ridiculously powerful. So as I'm going down the freeway, like when I drive from Canada to the States, I can feel the energy shift. It's just more advertising. That's what it is. It's just more advertising, getting it. So when I'm going down the street and I'm looking at the road, there's like billboard for KFC, billboard for buying shoes, billboard for looking beautiful, or whatever the case is, right? And it's all going in, right? So that I have to process all of that. So when you take something so fundamental of where you live, what you're experiencing, what is your walk to school like, and especially, I definitely feel so similar in what you're doing, in the sense that I am passionate about Zen Athlete and the podcast and what I'm doing for the youth. Because these are the people that, when we can inspire and we can empower, they're the leaders of tomorrow, and we need to set that example. So if we've got a 10-year-old to 15-year-old kid going down the street and he's getting inspired by art, he's feeling like he can create anything. He's, feeling a higher vibration, love, or whatever the case is. we don't even know what that effect is measurably. You know what I mean? But it's having a
Right.
massive impact. If he's going down the street seeing busted needles, busted windows, you got scary. Let's imagine the opposite. If all the murals were like, you're gonna die, it'd be terrifying. It wouldn't be good.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. There was an advertisement that says, "How will you die?" It was in Culver City. I saw this ad. It says, and it's like a woman about this like fearing for her life, right? And it says, "How will you die?" And there's like a lot of like rules around signage and laws, mural ordinances, and all this stuff, right? But somehow you've got this "How will you die" billboard for this movie, and I'm just like, and it's in a residential / commercial area. And like, no one had to approve that. To get flowers on a utility box that looks like a piece of trash, to put flowers on there, you need to go through like rounds of approval, notaries, and to get a private wall painting, City of LA, notaries, community meetings, all sorts of stuff. And you're just like, wow, but they just put up a "How will you die" sign? And it was similar. I was driving down to Newport actually for that award ceremony. I forget if we talked about that here or.
No,
before.
I did. I mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely talk about that.
We'll get to it. But on the way down, it said war, and I think it's talking about the new the movie with the apes, Planet of the Apes. And it just says war. And if you didn't know what that movie was, or you didn't see the apes, you'd think there was a massive thing that says war. And this is like the advertisement. It says war. I don't know, but that's just, it doesn't matter what level of entertainment, that stuff. You can't just write big war on, that's the whole thing is to not have war. I don't know. I that kind of took me a little bit. And I guess, advertising is everywhere, and they seem to get away with different things. I guess when there's money behind it, and big dollars, and things change. So that's kind of one of the things that we face is like, how do we fare with that? Why is it so difficult to make something beautiful? But to put something that can show like death and war and put that in a residential area, no one seems to complain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even hear a lot of complaints about it. I guess someone's complaining somewhere. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. But
yeah,
it's not enough because I still can't paint a piece of trash with flowers.
Yeah.
Which, to another point, I think all dumpsters need to just look like flower boxes. Because when you look at, to your point, when you look at trash, you feel and see trash.
Mm-hmm.
It's very straightforward. When I show you trash, how do you feel?
It's true.
So when you drive down the street,
I would totally
right?
love that. I would totally love that. Have a really talented artist, and every single trash bin, it was painted beautifully, or had different themes and really wild stuff.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because all these dumpsters, there's so many dumpsters on the street. They just put their big green, black, or whatever color dumpsters, and the trash is overflowing, and that makes the street look trashy. It's right? But if they were if they had wraps of flowers or whatever, you'd say, you know what? I didn't even notice the trash.
Yeah.
Simple thing.
Yeah. And then it would be how are you feeling? Right. And this is kind of where, I think that your intention on this is how are you feeling? And this is your energetic signature. This is literally your vibration. Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of frequency and vibration. So you go to the wrong part of town that's got all the trash, and it's got "I'm going to kill you" tag, and then you go into a dingy bar and everybody really wants to take your wallet and stab you. You would actually energetically feel that. You would feel it. And if you go to a place where everybody loves you, where, they got little Buddha statue or something, and they're just a bunch of really great, welcoming, warm, balanced people, you would feel that energy. And
That's
so
right.
If we can do that in a city, so just a simple thing like the trash, where this person just is walking down the street and everybody's feeling a little bit better. just a little bit better, a little bit of a higher vibe, a little bit thing, you're going to be less afraid to say hi to the person walking down the street. Like,
It's
hey man,
exactly right. It's exactly
what's
right.
going on? Right? Like, cool. You're actually not trying to kill me. You're probably okay. So
It's exactly right. If you're walking down a scary street, you're probably less likely to talk to someone than if you're walking down a nice street on Main Street in Santa Monica versus some other streets in Santa Monica that are not quite as nice. And Santa Monica is such a funny example because, like, here's a great city, right? Like, I love Santa Monica. It's my favorite place. But even Santa Monica has its places that really need some love. It really does. And there are places that that are sketchy to walk down at night. And, you know, and if it's in Santa Monica, it's everywhere. It's most of the world. It's not just like most of the world has that kind of feel and sentiment. And it really is all about how you feel. You're right. It's like if you can do that millions of times over and people just feel a little bit better, they go home, they see something nice on the wall instead of like, how will you die? I don't know. Sorry for that movie. Whoever, I don't know if that's the name of the movie or just a tagline, but it's not very nice.
And the thing is, you don't even think about it until it's shown to you, right? Like in the same way, if I say, don't think about a pink spotted cow, you don't think about that until I present it to your mind, you know?
Well, so not me. I think about pink spotted cows often.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Maybe a little bit rare in that sense.
Once a day.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah, like when we're projecting, it's kind of like the way that I see it, because I've studied psychology, hypnosis, persuasion for a long time, and it's literally, to me, mental warfare. You know, if I'm walking down the street and you say, it's in snowboarding and extreme sports in my background. You know, if I'm teaching you how to do a backflip, right? And I've had this once actually. I'm about to go off the jump, right? And this guy is standing there and he works for the snowboard park and he says something like "watch out" or "oh no," and I'm all ready to do a backflip. And he says this just I'm leaving, and I basically go upside down and I stop because I think there's like a person at the bottom. I don't know what's going on. He just freaked me out. And then I end up landing on my back and shoulders and head, and I just yell. I'm like, "What are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing?" So if I'm teaching you how to do a backflip and I scream at you, "Don't fall," I'm projecting that into your mind, and
That's right.
and like there you go. And I wanted to go one step further with the power of this because I totally see it. Those people in those neighborhoods that might be the unsavory characters, as they're getting dusted with a higher level of consciousness, with love, with community, with inspiration, with hope, they're going to be less likely to do anything because they're going to feel better, and they're at the lower end if that's where they've gotten to in their existence.
That's right. They will. Everyone will feel a little bit better. No matter what you do, if you put something happy in front of an angry person, they'll feel a little bit better. Maybe not 100%, but it's funny. The thing that I always say is like, this is like a 15% world. Ultimately it's a world peace mission, I think, or save the world kind of mission, right? But like, it's a tangible stepping stone to world peace. That's kind of how I look at it. If you can make everyone feel a little bit better, and you can shave off just like some of the anger and get people to feel responsible for their communities and take action in positive ways and make a positive difference and just smile more often. Well, you've got like a ground to start talking about world peace, right? It's a good fundamental. It's a base coat. It's not going to cure everything, but no one knows how to cure everything, so you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
so 100%. You make everything look nicer. You make people feel nicer. Now we can at least share nice places and nice things.
Yeah, 100%. And have you seen the artist? And I don't know where she is. It's like Iraq or something like that. And she's a female artist doing these beautiful murals in kind of a war-torn part of town. Have you seen that?
Maybe.
I have to send that to you. Yeah, she's like a female artist, and she's kind of doing that. She's making beautiful, like kind of. It's a little bit political because of where she's from, but they're amazing, and it's kind of in like war-torn art. But even just seeing it in the rubble, it kind of again, art is inspiration, and inspiration comes from, an idea. The Empire State Building or whatever that started as an idea. You know, everything starts as an idea. That massive, huge, crazy building started as an idea, and all this came together. So you give one person an idea, and if you inspire through essentially a higher vibration, love or art or inspiration, you're doing powerful work. You're doing magic. So
That's what it's all about.
Tell us about this award, man. I'm stoked for you. I want to know more about it.
Oh, nothing.
Tell me.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, we happened to win a very nice award last week. It's the California Travel Association Cultural Tourism Champion Award. So many of the hospitality, travel, and tourism type boards of all the different cities in California were there. And there was a ceremony, and we won. And I gave a speech, and I got a nice little, I think like a glass ice bucket. It was very
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, man, way to go.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Well, you've already.
It was very cool.
How much work? How many murals have you done so far? And it's beyond the art. So what? Like, give us a little bit of a history of how much you've actually accomplished so far, because it's quite a bit.
Yeah, I think the footprint is in the thousands, and it's sometimes difficult because we don't. The goal is not to paint them all, right? The goal is to inspire, to get them to be painted. You know, it's not like how many walls did you. It's a difficult question. It's a spectrum of involvement in walls, right? If you inspire a community to paint all the walls, right, then it's like, did you paint them? No, but you kind of made it happen. So our we'll call it the artistic footprint is in the thousands that we've been able to project. And in Santa Monica alone, because this is our dense area of, I want to say, completely hands-on activism in that category, we've done 50 alone in Santa Monica. So like the face of Santa Monica it didn't have all that much art. Funny enough, or at least like public outwardly facing art, there's over 50 pieces of people come here taking photos in front of hashtag Santa Monica, hashtag, whatever. And, especially as it relates to tourism. And I think this is why it's so important, is that it really does create its placemaking. And it really does create an opportunity for someone to smile, someone to take a photo. And it's really advertising for wherever you are, right? And using social media to promote those things, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or whatever you do, you're saying, hey, there's great art in this city. And in Santa Monica, there's, I don't want to say there was no art, but there's 50 more pieces, more than 50 pieces of fresh photo capturing art that's available in this small radius. So it's significant. And some streets, like one of the ones we've done the most on, I think there's over 20 murals that we did on Pico Boulevard alone that have really starting to like completely transform the street. I mean, it's like there was nothing, and now there's great businesses on there that have opened up. The art has an economic impact for the brick and mortar locations, that it increases foot traffic, right? You didn't know it was there. It was like a dirty wall, and now it's a landmark. It's like, oh, the wall with the triangles, or the wall with the whatever it is. So it actually will increase foot traffic in areas, and as you start to cluster them, it becomes a destination. So
right.
It's really helping to change the way you feel on Pico. The Pico Improvement Organization has done great work in supporting that, and the city of Santa Monica as well. It's been incredibly supportive. I got to say, working with the city and the organizations here is just like the best. So, they're very, very supportive, and it's wonderful. The people, the organizations, it's good stuff. So.
Awesome, man. Yeah. I totally agree with that. So I kind of wanted to, I don't know if it's a backtrack or forward track or, you know, in the bio, I really loved how it said taking the value says to bring care, art, color, and love everywhere. That's your bigger mission. That's the inspiration. And I was just curious, uh, if you were fully activated with unlimited resources, money, people, team, and you saw this vision of Beautify Earth, and it's affecting everything as you imagine it. Like, do you have other arms that you'd like to see activated? Do you have other like what does that look? Does it grow? Is it more people? Is it activated in every city? Does it go into like kind of community art teaching, or what does that look like for you? And then also on a technical note, I think in the last little bit, your lovely beard is scratching your mic, so just be mindful of that because we
Oh,
can't hear you. Is
oh,
it was just the last time with the beard, so just a technical note. But
okay,
yeah,
okay.
so
Hope you did. Hope I didn't. I
no, it
wasn't
was good. It
speaking
was
over
just
the beard, but okay.
you're good.
Cool. So program stuff. Yes, we do schools, and we are building out all of our programs, continuously building out all of our programs. There's a number of different programs. I think that's basically what you're referring to. Schools is one of them that sadly, a lot of schools, especially here in LA, really kind of feel like prisons. They're really sad. It is our goal to inspire youth to realize that they can create their own beautiful reality, and realize that their creativity can actually go to something that can change the way they feel and the way people feel and create something positive on the planet. And it starts locally, as local as your own classroom. And sometimes that's just about changing the curriculum a bit and saying, hey, instead of painting on paper today, we're going to paint on the wall. Why? Because the wall currently is disgusting. So we're going to make it beautiful, right? And we're going to, and it's like that type of experience. So sometimes, one way of doing that is having professional artists come help and do a more paint by number thing and work with the kids. A number of different ways of doing that. We've worked with, another avenue in program development has been, our corporate model where some big corporations we've worked with have sponsored a number of murals in different places. Like Zappos is a great example. Paco, Tyler, shout out, and friends. But Zappos did 10 walls in 10 cities, and you can see a project we have it on our website, but it's on their website as well. And it was great because each wall represented one of their core values. You would never know it was Zappos at all, but the point is they sponsored it and represent, and their core values are really just wonderful ways of being, and we resonate deeply with Zappos core values. So it was really nice, and really a perfect partnership. But that type of experience where corporations are leveraging their corporate social responsibility mission to be able to make things more beautiful. It's kind of like sponsoring a baseball team. You can sponsor a town.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's similar, right? You could, and it's so funny because it's so, like I said, relatively inexpensive to just about anything else to get some good high quality art on the street. It's like the amount of money that's spent just sometimes for even cities just on like consulting fees to evaluate a thing that they're not even going to use. You could have painted the whole street. You could have made everyone feel better for like a quarter of that. It's crazy. So the return on investment is just massive. What are some other programs? Well, I think those are two pretty good ones. I think there's opportunities, especially to think about the incentive opportunities for landlords to really figure out like what is it going to take to get you to realize like that having a building is a responsibility. It's not just a money-making machine, right? But you do have, you have placed a piece of land, and people live near that piece of land or that building on that land. And they have to experience that building. And it's your responsibility to make sure that their experience is nice. And it doesn't take much. Not everything has to be a crazy mural. It's just thoughtfulness, right? It's showing that you care. That's really what it is. It's not like, oh my God, that's such an incredible mural. It's really just having a nice building's fun. Right? Just showing that you took a little, and like, you didn't just paint it beige. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we joke around in Beautify Earth, we call it the war on beige.
Yeah. Yeah, man, totally. It really is that, it's, I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know why it came up, but just, I saw this meme. It's like, when you take care of things, they last. And it was this old guy. He's like 94 with the same car he had in like the 1930s.
Right.
But it's just, and when you have a house, if it's a decrepit house and you come over and kind of decrepit and dirty, it's how you feel in that person's house. And you'll have a very different feeling when it's clean and, you have nice art on the wall, and, maybe they give you a nice drink or something. It's a whole different experience.
A whole different experience.
The experience creates and affects the emotional state. The emotional state goes out to the environment. So in the same way, like, when I travel, and I travel a lot, I go to what I resonate with. So one of my favorite places on the planet is Whistler, Canada, where I lived for 8 years. Friggin' amazing.
Beautiful.
Sedona I love it there. It's strange in the best way, but you're in nature, and people have, they're a little bit more community minded, but especially in Whistler, places like Colorado, Byron Bay, Australia, in places where just people seem to be more balanced and maybe more, I don't know, kind or whatever the case is, it also reflects in absolute the external environment. Like Whistler's pristine, like I said, if I saw someone, I was like going down the street, I see a tourist there, I'm just like, hey man, the heck are you doing? Like, pick that up. And just, if they don't pick it up, I'll just go pick it up. Right. And then you go to the big city, and in Toronto, and for me, like, big cities are a big challenge for me because I'm basically like a walking caveman or a Yeti or something. And so like, I like nature and mountains, but people just throw things on the ground. And so when we can create a new experience and a new I'm trying to think about the word, but it's like the social norm, like when you go to different environments, if it's a social norm to throw a bottle against a wall, you might just throw the bottle against the wall because everyone else is doing it, right? So we can create a social norm, which creates a feeling, which is a vibration. And then that vibration ideally is one of like love, kindness, inspiration, peace, community, and togetherness. And that can be, and then a very fundamental step of that is art. And I think that's really, really beautiful, man.
It's not a cure-all, but it surely will make things better. It's a guaranteed make it better situation. I don't know if it's 10 or 50%. It's different cases and different things, but you are guaranteed to elevate the state of the world if we can achieve this mission. So. And your point made me think of something else. In Japan, and I don't know if I read this or heard it, or it's some places in Japan or all of the places in Japan, but it's wonderful. They don't have janitors in schools.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if I even need to go more into the point because I think it makes sense, right? Like, first of all, Japan is incredibly clean. But what happens is, as you can imagine, if you have to clean up after yourself, which is not that big of a deal in schools, you have to throw your lunch out, throw the paper to make it, this isn't like a big, but if you have janitors and lunch ladies and, all those things cleaning up after you, what does that say as you're growing up? It's saying that it's okay to leave your trash around for other people to pick up. And it's not. Cleaning up after yourself that's your responsibility, not just to yourself, but to everyone else around you. If everyone took, this is kind of this is a Burning Man principle, right? Like, leave no trace, right? Ultimate personal responsibility. And being able to know that, like, I am completely responsible for this. I'm not leaving my trash for someone else to deal with. That is not, you can't do that. If everyone did that, the world would be a complete mess. And it starts when you're young.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So this is kind of a similar question. Yeah, right. And apparently, I haven't been, but apparently Japan's streets are pristine. They have millions and millions of people, and it's clean.
Oh my God!
Like apparently ridiculously clean.
Very clean.
You been there?
I've been there. I was there for a few weeks. Yeah, and I traveled through most of central Tokyo, Kyoto, and Tokyo, and Osaka, and Nara, and it was just. I mean, the culture there is fantastic. But yeah, cleanliness, hygiene. The 7-Elevens have doors that open like this, and they have bidets in the bathroom with like bamboo waterfall things on top of the toilet, and you're just like, where am I? This is not a 7-Eleven. I think they're called Seven and Holdings in Japan, and also Lawson, 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 like the same. Like they're all owned by Seven and Holdings. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you kind of touched on it there where it's shaping culture, right? Different cultures have different cultural norms, and the youth learn cultural norms from what they observe, right? They're going to learn more from what a parent does than from what they say, So what are we doing? What are we instilling? How are we inspiring? And so this question is pretty similar to one that I asked, but I was just curious, more in depth about how would you like to see this activated, like in every single city? If let's say in my hometown in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, could I come to Beautify Earth or look at the website and say, I want to get some murals here. I don't know how to do that, to get money or ask the city or whatever. Do you guys help with that process at all or show, some possibilities with that, or how does that look?
Sure, we do. We have some opportunities for people to teach them how to actually create this in their own community. It would start by contacting us through the website and talk a little bit about what you're looking to do, and we would guide you through that. And so we do have a program for that, if you will.
Awesome.
And can offer assistance in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is we could do a lot of, as that building grows, the idea is, like I said, it's not us trying to do it. It's like, how do you just get it done? If I could do 1 million walls tomorrow, I would. And then I would move on to something. I would move on to like beautify something. Well, it would still be Beautify Earth, but maybe instead of all the walls, it would have to be, all the blight. It would have to be something else. I don't know, something big. Another problem that I look at is a third world issue. Blight's a third world problem. So if we can cure that tomorrow, on to the next one. It won't be tomorrow, but
right. Yeah.
If I could, I would.
Well, you guys are doing international. What other countries have you done work with?
We've done a handful. Some of the recent stuff going on has been there's some schools in Haiti that we've worked on, which has been really nice. There's some favelas in Brazil that I know that we're supporting down there that are really inspiring people, and there's some good stuff. Some of that stuff's on our Instagram that you can see. Spray Vita is a great organization we're working with down there in Brazil as well. That's doing some really nice things. I think those are two good. Some of the most recent international things. I
see school as being a huge one. So, kind of my mind originally for Beautify Earth was kind of in, neighborhoods that use some love. And it could be, inner city schools or any school, doesn't matter, but especially an inner city school doing the murals on the wall. And that's some of the work you're doing. Do you do some?
Yeah. Well, interior in schools, it's, interior and exterior. Generally, we don't do we unless it's a special type of thing. Interior walls are kind of a different thing. The idea is to inspire the public, right? So
okay, gotcha.
So you want to inspire people, not for like generally speaking, it's not like a rich person wants a nice piece of art home, and then you do, that's not the charity. So with schools, it's a bit different because you've got, I mean, the level of inspiration there, indoor, outdoor, does make a difference. There's plenty of people seeing it. There's plenty of hands-on activity. So yeah, I mean, it could be indoor, it could be in the classroom, it could be in the hallways, it could be outside in the recreation area, on the basketball courts. We've done the handball court things.
Yeah, because that's kind of how my mindset. Because I can just remember going through the halls as a kid, and they would usually have a different mural on there. And if especially you go to a lower income neighborhood, and you just give them the most righteous art on the inside and outside, and like that's your home. That's how. And these kids might not have the greatest home environment. And then school is where you're getting education from your home, witnessing what your parents are doing in your community, and then school is the next big one. But that's also, you have within the system, the cities, you have control, and you could create beautiful schools, and that will absolutely translate to their education, to how they feel about their school, and then that will go home into their home, and then that will go into the community. It's such a simple, subtle, but absolutely powerful tactic.
So simple. If you go into a room that's filled with I always like the flower example because it really is a simple one. But if you go into a classroom that's filled with a nature scene, a friendly nature scene, versus going to a classroom that's filled with peeling, dirty walls, which one do you want to spend more time in? Where are you going to feel better? And if your entire childhood you have to feel like you're you feel dirty. If you look at a dirty wall, it feels dirty. I don't know. If all your upbringing is in dirty classrooms, then that doesn't, it doesn't necessarily mean like the end is near. It just means that like the opportunity cost is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plenty of people grow up in dirty classrooms and are just fine, but it doesn't. You're just saying, what's the opportunity cost of making people feel better more often, and being having a more inspiring place, a creative. How do you send your child to a school that looks like a prison? You should send them to a creative learning place.
Yeah.
Right? Something that makes you feel like you want to be there and learn and grow and develop.
Yeah.
Dirty walls don't do that. They don't have that effect. The dirty walls.
Yeah, it's true, man. 100%. Like I went, some of my college education was law and security, and they would do different tests on how somebody you'd bring in on just the color of the walls, right? Why are some walls white, some are blue, some are this, some are that. So a dirty wall is going to give you a different effect than an inspiring wall. It's just, again, it's a no-brainer, super simple.
No-brainer.
So what I was curious about is what are Beautify Earth's company values, if you have those drawn out, and then what are your personal values for the planet, and like what's your overall mission? So there's like three big questions that you can kind of just pick at.
Let's see. So the values of the organization, then the values of myself, and how it relates to the mission.
Yeah, and your own
Did
mission.
I get that right?
Yeah, and then your own mission of you're plucking forward. What's your big eyesight, big vision?
Sure. Well, I think my mission personally is I guess I'll start with that. Is if I am going to be here on this planet and I am going to exist and I'm going to be here to make a better planet. Right. You got to create something positive. And I feel that whatever you do, whatever scale you do it, get out there and do something positive. Help people, be kind, be a good person, go make a difference in whatever capacity. But, at the end of the day, we're all servants to each other. We're all servants to the planet. I believe that. I believe that and it's great. I mean, you help people, you feel good. It's a great, reciprocating mechanism of like, you're out there and you're helping and it's nice and you feel good and people get help and you can actually create something impactful for the planet. And that's, at the end of the day, when I die, I want to know, I said, I did something good here.
Yeah.
I did something
Amazing.
good. So, there's that. I think that stems into surely our core values at Beautify Earth. I guess I'm going to read them because, well, you can find them on the website, beautifyearth.org/the-story. You can see our core values, but it's to be a creator of win-wins and yes and, right? Not no but rather yes and. How do we create win-wins for everyone? And this is important because we deal, one of the things that we're not is an artist activist agency. It's the major component, of course, and as an artist myself, I wouldn't say we're not artist activists, but we're not just that, right? It's you have to give rights to everybody. If you want to make a world that is more colorful, you have to give rights to businesses who want to rebrand. You have to give rights to landlords who want to sell their business. There is a temporary nature to this, and you have to be able to accept change as part of life and say, you know what, if it's time, I'm not happy to see the mural go, but after a period of time, if the new business owner comes in and says, hey, I don't like Paisley, I want shapes, you have to give that right. And if you don't give everybody rights and everyone understand where everyone's coming from, we're never going to achieve the mission. So it really is a win-win-win for everybody. So that's really important. The other is be team, be the example, be kind and persistent, be a humble servant, be more with less. In other words, be efficient with your resources, don't be wasteful, make sure that you can, don't try to squander, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but be responsible with your resources and getting things done and be efficient. Be inspiration, be the most responsible. So always put your personal responsibility first of what needs to be done and how you can be responsible for that. Be beautiful through love and care. Be fun and weird, and anything is possible is our last one. And kind of just knowing that if you live in the creation of dreams, then you may not reach the stars, but if you reach one of the stars or you reach the sun, that's pretty far. So you kind of shoot high, live in possibility. There's a great mural by Ruben Rojas on Main Street in Santa Monica. It says anything is possible, anything can be. It's a girl blowing a dandelion. It's beautiful. It actually won an award in Santa Monica as well. It's funny. It's right near my home, so I always go look at it. And I always remember that there's always an answer to a problem. Every problem has a solution. You have to believe that there's a solution to something, and you have to know that, you can be responsible for creating that. Mm-hmm. And anything really is possible. You can do whatever you need to do to make a better planet. It's up to you.
Yeah, beautiful. I really see the theme of what you're talking about is a lot about personal responsibility. I know that you're a burner, I'm a burner, and people who haven't been to Burning Man, a lot of the thing that they miss, some people are like, oh, it's like this big rave in the desert. It's like, nah, man, there's like 10 tenets, which is, the main one is radical self-responsibility, radical self-reliance, inclusion, gifting, all that kind of stuff. And it does create this temporary culture. It's funny. The first article I wrote on Burning Man, it got published on burners.org. And I thought it was going to be really great. I thought I was going to get good feedback. I didn't even know what Pollyanna meant, but it means basically positive to the point of being reckless. Because I had this very transcendent, beautiful, Playa Magic experience. And some people have terrible times. And, as I looked at Burning Man, yeah, there's some stuff that sucks for sure, like anything else. But as I said at the beginning of the article, that it wasn't about that; it was about what was right with Burning Man. Um,
Right.
I said it at the beginning, and you still just I got terrible feedback, but but I thought it was good. But what I like about
There's
Burning
a
Man is
continuum like anything, right? There's a continuum of pros and cons, but
yeah,
it's a special.
yeah,
Burning is a very special place with a lot of special pros.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
wild. So one of the things I really like from my experience as I keep going through, and this will be my 4th year, is just the community culture. Now, sometimes people is like, oh, well, I had this experience where that person didn't help me. And I was like, maybe that's also a reflection of you, because Burning Man is almost like a sober psychedelic experience. It's like a spiritual, it's like you're going through whatever you need to go through in that moment, you
Yeah.
know? And so I've always found like great community, people reach out, but that radical self-reliance, where if you don't take responsibility for yourself first, then because that's really the only thing that you have control over, you know. And as
Yeah.
you take care of yourself and you have enough food and water and shelter, and you're setting your intention to do good in a way that you are inspired to do that, right? You know,
Right.
you're an artist. You're not, you know, you could I don't know, be a woodworker, but you're not inspired to be a
Yep.
woodworker. But that could still be great. There could be a woodworker out there that could do something similar, taking this idea, and it really takes
Right.
that belief within yourself and that responsibility within yourself to go for the big mission. And I think that's a little bit of an underlying thing that's not being said, is like you're taking a leap of faith because you're a successful business guy, I'm guessing, with the previous company, or at least enough, and then you're making a big leap and you're like, you know what, this is the thing, like I'm fully passionate about going this way, and I'm going to put all of my love and energy and heart. And we're very similar in that way. I think that if I die tomorrow, I'm going to be kind of fine with it, like, you know, my dead self, because I tried my best, you know, and I know that, and I would have liked to do, you know, more here, and I've messed up all over the place there, but I'm trying my best to move forward in the way that I think I can offer of service to others. And part of that is the podcast. Some of it is in sport, you know, writing the book with kids. A lot of that was learning. I had to learn a lot, right? Go through my own process. So I think that your work is really inspiring. So I don't know if you wanted to touch on that rant and talk a little bit about maybe like what you would like to empower people with your work, and what you know, because it starts with that person taking responsibility, but also believing in themselves, right? And if they're in an environment where everyone's telling them that they can't do it, that, you know, they're not good enough, you know, that's where it all starts. But, you know, I think that's really the seed that you're offering.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, if anyone who's watching this hasn't seen Kung Fu Panda, okay, gotta watch Kung Fu Panda.
It's so good.
I've seen all 3 of them. I think the
They're
first
amazing.
one. So they're amazing. The first one's still my favorite, and the if I say the theme of it, is that like giving away the movie? No.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
can say the theme, right?
Yeah.
Okay, shut your ears if you don't want to hear the theme.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Spoiler
the theme,
alert.
one of the
Yes.
themes.
Yes.
It's not really, well,
Yeah.
kind of, well, one of the themes of it is to believe, I'm saying it, here we go, to believe in yourself. And, you know, believing in, and it was such a beautifully done movie. It was like, I mean, everything about it was, it had like, it was a cartoon with the adult kind of humor, and it was silly and goofy, and the theme was so strong and positive, and it was something that's so critical that I think really it's one of the deepest roots of a lot of the issues we face as a society, is that a lot of people don't believe in themselves. And it starts when you're a kid and having the type, you know, self-worth to know that, yes, I am good enough, I am capable, I can get out there. And this is why there's so many seminars and training things and emotional intelligence classes and all this stuff on on building up that confidence. That doesn't mean be arrogant. It means that you got to believe in yourself. And Kung Fu Panda has that. If you haven't watched Kung Fu Panda, please go watch Kung Fu Panda. It really is like one of my favorite movies. Actually, it inspired me to, when I was young, I used to play with nunchucks. And then when I watched Kung Fu Panda, and I got back into nunchucks. And I was,
Awesome.
I mean, practicing every day for like months or whatever, and I went, became like pretty skilled at using nunchucks.
That's
I love
awesome,
nunchucks.
man.
I
want to.
like
I have to see
identify
that. I have
myself as being a
nunchucks.
nunchuck guy. You do?
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man. I'm martial arts. I'm not. I would say I'm mid-range.
Mid-range.
But
Well, what's amazing? You know what's amazing about it? Tell me if you identify with this, but like one of the best things about nunchucks, it's not that it's like a weapon. Yes, it's kind of cool that you've got this like weapon thing, but it's not about doing strikes. For me, it's actually more about stepping in a flow state and developing more of a Tai Chi approach to it. And you become one with this moving balls of energy, these like spinning, moving, right? Balls of energy. And that's just amazing. And I have to thank Kung Fu Panda for that.
that's awesome.
Do you feel
dude.
that?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
more flowy. It's not a weapon, really,
yeah. Flow arts is a huge thing. Now that I'm more into the festival world, but poi. You know about flow arts?
Boy, of course, yeah.
Yeah, poi,
Yeah.
flow arts, and people are absolutely incredible with that. And it's a form of meditation, movement, mindfulness. So heck yeah, man. And Kung Fu
Absolutely.
Panda, 100%. I recommend if you haven't seen this, and I'm going to give away a spoiler now. So fast forward. But he goes through this whole movie, and he's got this bad guy, and he's got Master Oogway, this turtle who's the best. This Master Turtle is so great. Yeah. So once you become they're picking the new head person, which ends up being the panda, and he has this secret scroll, right? That's going to give him the answer to defeat the bad guy. So he's going to get the secret at the end. Is like it's all about this secret, the secret sauce to life and power and beating the bad guy and knowing everything. And it's blank. There's no secret. And man, that's like such a fundamental Zen lesson. And, because for me personally, I've read so much on Zen, enlightenment, meditation, whatever, man, consciousness. I'm in it. And so they're always like, there's no secret. There's no secret. And I was like, come on, I'm trying to find the secret. And then eventually it gets to the thing.
The dragon scroll, right?
Yes, the dragon scroll.
The dragon scroll, yeah.
Yeah, and it comes back to basically understanding that you were that creator, that you have to find this place, Zen or enlightenment or whatever. That place is within you where you're good enough. Where just by being on this earth, you are good enough. You deserve to be here. And what do you want to do with your expression? Owning your expression through your choices and through your intention, because that's what you can control. You can't control someone else down the street. Could make a suggestion if you want. Can't control, what's going on in politics usually. You can vote if you want, I'm not even going to go there, but it's so crazy. So we have a huge responsibility, I think, especially, we're probably similar ages. I'm 33. How old are you?
34.
Right. Yeah. So we're kind of in this age now where we can set the example to show what's possible for others. And I think that you're doing an absolutely tremendous job with your work, with your intention. And that's what it is. You're lit up. You're so full of energy with how inspired you are to help others, because you see a way that is having an effect, and you can see what it'll do. And I can totally see it too. So I'm just grateful for you stepping into that role and wholeheartedly, like a passionate moose in the forest, just tearing down, just moving massive energy towards this intention. And it's so inspiring and contagious, where people are like, well, look at that guy go, what a wild man. Like, I want to, get on some of that. And, people come, right. And then you inspire them to, branch off in that energy and move in their direction that they're inspired to, right. And then it becomes this basically infinity loop co-creation, because the way that I see it in this world, which is a crazy world at the moment, if you look at it, is we have this massive opportunity to affect change in a positive way. If there was ever a time where there was ever to have a purpose in this life, it's here and now. And, I think that you're doing it.
We don't have time. It's one of the things I say is like, the world needs color, love, and inspiration. And it needs it now. Like, we don't have time to wait like years for processes to kick in. And like, we don't know if we have years. We're talking about converting trash into art. Like, or blight or bland walls like into inspiration. And that has to happen today. We could be gone tomorrow, and this may prevent it. It's one thing that may prevent
Yeah, totally,
Someone
brother.
smiles more often. Maybe they didn't go home and, they went home with a smile and they treated their kids better.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And just a quick add on to that. I always tell people, like, for me, I always put when I was younger, because I was very empathetic, I put the world on my shoulders. How do I stop war and famine and all this? And I was like, there's no way.
Right.
And then after a while, I started to set in. It's like, I can only do what I can do. I can only do what I can do. And then more and more, I realized, like, just you being present and saying hi to the person across the counter, being a pleasant, compassionate human. When somebody's having a rough day and you smile at them, you might change effectively a whole stream of events that you have no idea about, like, so,
That's
you
right.
are powerful. What you do matters. It really does matter. And mostly, and this is the whole thing, it's going to matter mostly to you. Like, that's where it's going to affect. Who you are. So, honor who you are and have faith that you've got like a team and people like you out there that are, you might not know them, but you're supporting them, and I'm supporting you too. And you're doing it. So, man, I think that everything you're up to is really beautiful. What I want to ask for, I guess my last question is there anything that you wish that I had asked that you wanted to talk about, or you want to leave the listeners with before we close it out?
That's a good question. Well, I don't think so. I think first of all, thank you. This was awesome. I had a wonderful time, and
Good, man.
it was really great to be able to talk casually about this on live TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think if I have to say anything, it's please join us in this mission to beautify Earth. Please get out there, and if something reminds you of something that reminds you of this conversation, and you're posting on Instagram, just hashtag it Beautify Earth and let us know that you're thinking of us and that you're spreading the love and you're spreading the mission, and help us make art the default, not the exception. And let's create a global renaissance together for the betterment of humanity, and to make the world feel better, and to create a better, happier, more joyous, more inspired planet.
Amazing, man. Yeah, beautiful. I love that. And so if they want to find out more, beautifyearth.org.
Beautifyearth.org. That's it.
Beautify Earth. Cool. So all your stuff's there. And if they want to get in touch with you or send you a shout out, is your details there?
Yeah, you can. I mean, through the website, you can't miss me. Facebook, perfect. Instagram, and the website. Between one of those, you will shoot and hit something, I promise.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, dude, I just want to thank you for being who you are and this beautiful work that you're doing. I can 100% see your vision. I can see the power that it'll have. I see the effect it'll have. And I so appreciate that. I don't know if it's because I'm Canadian, but that just vicious, positive moose energy doing something good, and you're just like this freight train of positivity that's that can't be stopped, and you're moving forward with everything, even in our first communication on emails and looking at what you're up to. So just want to recognize you for all that work, and just know that I have your back, love, and support. And anyone who listens to this, whether it's on my podcast or live, and there's a way that you can get involved in a little way, I would just invite you to just look. Maybe you can do something small. Maybe you can just have a peek, but little action steps towards building this new, I call it the new Earth together. And that's one where it's community, it's compassion, it's art, it's peace, it's inspiration, it's all those things. So if we take those little steps together, and that could just be asking and reaching out, it's meaningful. So that's it, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, brother. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Let you get down to the rest of your day. That's it.
I guess I'll see you on the flip side.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, I'll stay in touch via email. But thank you, everyone, for listening. Hope you enjoyed this.
All right. Thank
Peace.
you, man. Talk to you soon. Bye.